what is Marvel doing? The hell? Disney are currently using an Avengers Secret Wars fan poster that includes Miles Morales at an official upfront in Sao Paulo. The fuck? What? Okay, so it's not just Miles Morales, although that is pretty interesting, of course. It's not just that it's Miles Morales. It is also that's the Beyonder. Y'all can see this. Okay. So this is a fan-made poster with fucking Halle Berry Storm, the Beyonder, ripped from Marvel Comics, Gambit, Doom, Miles Morales, Brie Larson's in this. This is crazy. This is so wild to me. And so they're using this at an official thing in Sao Paulo. So what the hell's going on here? Well, a couple of different things that could be going on. These things, although officially Disney, are usually put on by smalling organization teams. Sometimes they'll even use third-party event organizing, people or whatever. And so it's a little bit disconnected from like the official Disney stuff. So if you were to go to like an actual D23 or, a big actual upfront thing in maybe a big market, some of these smaller market things are a little bit more loosey-goosey, I guess you could say. A little bit more like go with the flow, like figure it out. So that's potentially one thing that's going on. Another thing that could be going on is like this is actually being done on purpose, which might seem weird, but recall that the Russo brothers first sent out a bunch of packages to social media personalities like Matt Ramos, Soups, and they actually sent out Boss Logic fan art of Doctor Doom, Iron Man, and like them being the same thing. And when they did that, a lot of folks were like, oh shit, okay, well, this is crazy. This is the first official look. And then it's like, oh no, this is clearly Boss Logic fan art. So what does this mean? Are the Russos sending this out for any particular reason, or is it just mysterious? Is it just to throw us off the scent? Like, what is this, right? Well, remember just a couple of weeks ago, guys, we saw at a similar kind of event, and I think this one was in Shanghai, there was a laser light show. There was the first official look at RDJ's Doctor Doom design with the chainmail and the weird Captain Marvel thing and, all of that, maybe the 10 rings on his arm. Well, when that happened, we had a similar feeling where we were like, what the fuck is this? Like, what is this official? Like, this all feels weird. It's like, it seems like it's official, but I don't know. Well, remember at the time, I believe it was Cryptic HD said that Disney and Marvel are planning to basically do stuff like this, like that event, and sort of drip drop, throw out little random things here and there. And that's how they want to promote Secret Wars and Doomsday and just be very mysterious and get people like kind of excited and feel that it's going to be epic and awesome. And remember, too, that, like, we don't really have much official in the way for marketing for Doomsday at all. There was a sizzler reel that was played at New York Comic Con, but that was basically sound bites, stuff from the set, and a lot of archival footage of when those actors had played those roles before, a lot of X-Men actors, etc., right? So there's really not been a lot of official marketing for Doomsday in as far as like, oh shit, like that's what it's going to look like, right? So I think this is probably just in a line with the strategy that they've set up, and they're just dropping little things here. And I think they like fan posters and they like doing this all. I would also imagine, frankly, that if the Russos had any input on this, or if anybody at Marvel proper had any input on the poster or on what this was, I think they chose this one to throw people off the scent. Because number one, I don't think Miles Morales is in this thing. Number two, I don't think the Beyonder's in this thing. Number three, I don't even know if Storm is in this thing. And number four, I don't even know if Captain Marvel's in this thing. Okay? So all of the other characters I would imagine are in the Doomsday movie. I don't know that they would be in Secret Wars, especially looking like this. So this poster just feels like all sorts of off, all sorts of wrong, and I think it's misdirection. I also think it's kind of wild that, like, we might have had some of the biggest, actual, most accurate leaks yet about what they are actually doing with Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom, what the conflicts in the movie actually look like. And then in the days and weeks following that, we're getting some of the most outlandish misdirections possible with official reveals like this. That's where my head is at with this. That's what I think is going on. This is all misdirection. I don't think there's no Beyonder in this thing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think there's any Beyonder in this thing. So that's kind of my take on it. There's one other thing that I'll throw into this segment here that's kind of an addition to this, and it has to do with another leak here. And one of the reasons I want to bring this up is because it ties in to the video I made yesterday. It ties into just generally what is going on with the leaks for Doomsday right now. So this is over on Max Blitz again. It says, Reed Richards, Shuri, and Beast build device to track final incursion, which, let me make sure we get here, in Avengers Doomsday. This comes from Majestic. Majestic is a new Scooper leaker. This is the person that got access to the Scoopers Discord somehow, some way. And Majestic's been posting a lot of stuff. It's possible Majestic is really connected. And Majestic is the person, by the way, I had a little conversation with Majestic in the DMs. I can't really tell. I want to believe them. I want to believe them. They told me my theory was right. They told me the theory is 100% right. That post that was on the video yesterday comes from Majestic. I feel like I missed that in the video because I was so excited about it. But that's what this is, okay? So, getting into this here, the leak says that the global timer that appears throughout the movie counting down to the final incursion. That's cool, man. That's actually a nice framing device for the film. Adds like a nice tension. The timer is connected to a device built by Reed Richards, Shuri, and Beast that track when realities begin to collapse. That's really cool. In Doomsday, the countdown will appear several times, similar to how Avengers Endgame, Captain America Civil War showed locations on screen. This time it will mark how close the heroes are to the final event. 3 days before Doomsday, 2 days before. I kind of like that shit. That's kind of cool. You'll have Earth 616, Earth 828, Earth 10005 in the X-Men universe, likely real. As previously reported by rumors, Avengers Doomsday will feature 2 final battles. Okay, so now they're just kind of going through a lot of the other stuff here. Okay, but here's like the point I'm trying to make. This is why I brought this up here. This Majestic person seems to have like a ton of information, and it's possible that unlike some of the other scoopers, which I think actually technically play nice with Disney, sometimes throw us off the scent, maybe even throw Kevin Feige and Kathleen Kennedy under the bus so that Bob Iger doesn't get blamed. Like, I'm really starting to think that these scoopers and leakers, most of them are like a little too pro-Disney, to be honest. And I don't think this person is. I think Majestic is like maybe actually either a hacker or legit figured out all the info, like has the actual source that's not connected to any pro-Disney person and that just knows. And so if we hear anything that Majestic has talked about get hinted at by some of these other scoopers or insiders, I think it's pretty fair and safe to say that the Doctor Doom theory is correct. Now, that takes us to the final part of this little video here, and then I definitely want to get into the chat here and see what you guys are thinking. So, if this is real, if Majestic is onto it here, then my theory was correct about Doctor Doom, okay? And, again, the TLDR on that is that RDJ's Tony Stark was a Victor Von Doom variant the entire time. And that in the recreated multiverse, after the multiversal war, He Who Remains made Victor Von Doom on the sacred timeline become Tony Stark. And I don't know. I mean, maybe it's not exactly that. Like, maybe that just happened, but he still blames He Who Remains or whatever. But essentially, like, that is what Majestic is talking about, and that's, like, been the theory that I've been talking about, and I think there's a lot of evidence to support it. So, with all of that in mind, I mean, where are you guys at with this? Because I think when I first started talking about this theory, people were dead set against it. I think a lot of people said there's no way. And then, honestly, the more and more stuff that came out, because there's just, like, little things here, little things there, a little leak here, a little rumor here. Literally every single thing that has come out works towards the theory. The only thing that doesn't work towards the theory is My Time to Shine Hello saying that it's not real. And I'm telling you right now, I think she's a liar. She's either being lied to herself or she is out here lying specifically to throw people off the scent. Because if it is out there, like, let's think about it like this, chat. This is maybe the biggest secret ever. If they're actually doing this big of a retcon, and this is actually going to be this crazy, then Marvel is like definitely does not want people to know about this. Disney definitely does not want people to know about this. Do you remember when Jeff Snyder's sources legitimately lied to his face? He had the RDJ Doctor Doom thing. He took it to his Marvel sources. They lied to his face. So the rules have changed. People are playing different. I think this is real. I feel very strongly that this is real, that my theory was correct. So with that in mind, what do you guys think about this? Go look at the super chat. Okay, but you should just put the super chats in when I'm actually looking at the chat. Alan Ritson needs to either be in the MCU or the DCU as the main IP. He would be amazing as Batman, although I love Pattinson. He would also be great as Cap. Oh, dude, he'd be crazy as Cap, actually. Yeah. I like the dude. I would like him as Batman. Maybe the person that replaces Gunn will hire him as Batman. Piatti Diddy says, I know it's a meme now, but what does Doom sound like? My name is Doom. Can you explain story-wise why superheroes fighting alternate versions to the death is supposed to stop incursions? I'm generally confused. Looks cool, though. Can you explain why fighting alternate versions to death is supposed to stop incursions? Yeah, so in the comics, it's because if you destroy the other Earth, the incursion just literally stops. So I don't know exactly how they're going to make it work in the movies, but like in the comics, it was pretty simple. These worlds are colliding. If you don't stop the collision, both universes are destroyed. Billions, trillions of lives get destroyed. If you destroy one of the Earths, which would kill billions, you save trillions of lives because the other Earth survives, and so do all of the planets in both universes. Right. So it's assumed that something like that will be going on in the film. Yeah. I think you're like 75 to 80% right. Yeah, that could be. Yeah. How does your theory connect Doom to Reed Richards? Because Doom and Reed Richards just lived out a regular, normal life. Like they just existed as Doom and Reed. And then at some point, Doom either starts to have the memories of his old life or full on discovers that his life was a lie. So that's why like Marvel and all these people can just say like, oh no, he's just Victor Von Doom. Do you understand? Would make sense about RDJ sticking around post Secret Wars. Yes, it would. Yeah. That don't make sense. Well, I'm not sure if anything would make sense to the monkey giraffe. But if you tell me what part doesn't make sense, I could try to explain it to you better. Can you explain that buyout is a soft reboot or hard reboot or who buys who? Which buyout are you talking about? You talking about the DCU? The DCU, I mean, guys, we don't know. Everybody's speculating. Everybody's trying to figure out what's going on with the DCU. That's like the whole point is like that people don't know. I bet we think Doom pulls out Captain America's skeleton. Oh, that would be crazy. So that means Doom is never defeated, LOL? Well, he's defeated, but then just restored. It's just like Secret Wars. Like, he loses, Reed wins, restores the multiverse, but then he just restores Doom into that multiverse. He actually fixes his face, too. Just pretty crazy. The first pretender with the $20 holla says, hard time seeing a path to Stark being a variant of Doom being successful and accepted by audiences. RDJ as Iron Man, seen in many circles as the most genuine genius casting in history, suddenly was never actually Stark. Puzzling. Yes. Well, remember, too, that the Russos said this thing, and they actually stopped saying this, but they said it around the time when it was all being announced. They said several times that they wanted to challenge the audience. Do you guys remember this? Let me see if I can find the quotes. They said, we want to challenge the audience. Can you find the quote? See if I can find the exact quote, but that's their. I mean, guys, I'm just like that's totally fine if you see that, and I would say to you, yeah, obviously that's why it's bold, right? So there's just like this thing where like, like you're not wrong, but I guess you're missing that. That's the point. That they didn't want to just return and do another Avengers thing. Yeah, let me see if I can find them. I think we're always looking at new faces, but there are always new stories to tell. I think these movies are going to surprise people. We found a way into the story that's very exciting to us, but we think very radical. And I think it's going to challenge audiences. Joe Russo. We found a way into the story that we think is going to be challenging for audiences. It's challenging for us to execute. And it's really exciting for us. It gets us out of bed. Joe Russo. Absolutely. We want to beat those younger versions of ourselves. We have to be, right? Because we have to outdo those movies in a way, or at least we have to take you on an equally engaging journey. Like, guys, I don't know what else to say. I've said it before. We just want the Avengers to fuck up some dudes and call it a day. The whole universe doesn't need to end. Yeah, but that's not even true. That's not even true. Like, I reject that completely. And by the way, even the people that actually think that's what they want, there's this thing like, okay. When it comes to fan service, right? If you do too much fan service and you just do like the obvious fan service, it loses its appeal. Okay. And I forget who said it, but there was like a really good writer that said one time, what you need to do is give the audience what it didn't know it wanted. If you just give the audience what it wants, like if the audience just says, like this dude just said, I just want the Avengers fighting Doom or whatever, right? That's what they say. If you just do that, you're actually failing as the storyteller. Because the real challenge is to give the audience what they want, but you have to give them what they didn't know they wanted. That's how you create good art. That's how you do something novel. That's how you break the mold. And like the thing is, everybody is sitting back with this RDJ thing, and they're saying it's a money grab. It's like break glass in case of emergency. It's like, there's nothing about it that's interesting, right? If what I'm talking about is happening, it was actually never that. It was actually like always the biggest retcon ever. The most successful franchise. A franchise that has 10 more movies than the fucking James Bond franchise. The biggest movie franchise of all time. Taking its biggest character ever and retconning it in a way that will shock the world. And frankly, I don't know how many other scenarios there are left for Marvel that they could even shock the world. This would be insane. And you have to admit that it would be insane. That's what makes it so exciting. Listen to their words. Doesn't that track with how they think of the story? Holy crap, I hadn't realized I've been a member this long. Been such a great journey through the past almost 5 years. John Johnston, appreciate you, man. Holy. Thank you. Okay, so your theory is good, but what do you think is the second most likely theory that you wouldn't be surprised they did instead? Doom stealing faces to trick the Avengers? Yeah, so it would be that... So it's just like a softer version of it, basically. So if they do this, I think it would actually kind of suck, where basically they're going to explain that the multiverse itself is like basically they would explain the Ralph Boner thing a little bit by saying that essentially Ralph is a variant of a Quicksilver, but when the multiverse was scrambled up and made, he was just a regular guy here, and the other dude was Quicksilver. Meaning that we're still taking basically the ingredients of like eternity or fixed moments in time and shit like that, and you just shake the box up and it goes random, and basically that like random as fuck, he's an Iron Man looking Doctor Doom or something like that. And I would hate it. Like, look, there's literally no other good explanation for me. Every single other explanation is bad. They're all bad. He takes Iron Man's face, terrible. They just randomly look the same, like the Deadpool joke with Chris Evans. Terrible. No explanation whatsoever. Terrible. Like, all the other ones are so much worse. Like, what explanation do you guys think that it is? Yeah, every other explanation sucks ass. Like, oh, there's no connection whatsoever? Terrible. Then get somebody else. Which, by the way, it isn't even true, because Russo said the only person that could play Doom in their story was Downey. That's what they said. Yeah, he's just Doom for no reason. Yeah, that would be terrible. I will criticize that heavily. Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. I think it's smart making Doomsday a sequel to Endgame. Yes, it is. It's very smart. Yep. Maybe they have Mephisto show Doom his other life was supposed to be. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. He ate a bad Cheeto and changed his face. Yeah, exactly. Terrible. Fans and general audiences would hate it. Yeah, but so, like, that's what makes it bold, right? Like, I'm sorry. Like, that is... So if you say this thing and you're like, wow, that's kind of a cool fucking idea. And then your next thought is, oh, but it would be like really hard for audiences to get on board. Like, audiences wouldn't like that. Like, guys, I'm sorry. Some of the greatest stories ever told have done things like that. An example that comes to mind is Berserk. Okay. So Berserk, the manga itself, it had, it's actually really interesting. Berserk actually starts off in the sort of present with Guts, and then it goes into a flashback that shows his time with the Hawks. Okay, if you know, you know. But just walk with me on this. I'm making a point. So when Berserk the manga started adapting that arc with the Hawks, it actually became incredibly popular. It was a great story, a lot of really fun characters. People loved it. So the mangaka takes it to a place called the Eclipse. And it was this absolutely brutal event where all of those friends and all of the people you just followed along in this incredible arc are all sacrificed to literal demons to give the main character or one of the main characters demonhood. It was brutal. It was shocking. It was savage. People hated it. People were furious. People rioted. People wrote all kinds of emails. People boycotted the manga. But eventually, people eased up. Eventually, people started to see it for what it was. One of the boldest, most incredible, long-form, slow-burn payoffs to an epic story that had ever happened. You have to sometimes turn your back on the audience to conduct the orchestra. So, I say, do it. I say shake it up. I mean, what else do we want? Do you really want Marvel to just be like, oh, we just kind of did some cool Avengers movies with RDJ? That's not what I want. I want them to be like, oh, we actually split it open, flipped it on its head, challenged the audience, recontextualized everything. That's what I want. That's what I'm hoping for. Steve McTee says, Josh, I just had a vision. Doom will see Tony's death in Endgame. Dream like Doctor Strange in MOM. And this starts his journey into the multiverse. Something like that could very well be happening because we do know that they receive dreams of the other people in the multiverse. So absolutely, that could be what's going on, yeah. Jason says, people who think this is just a money grab are missing context. Why would the Russos risk their Marvel legendary status and come back after beefing with Disney? Yeah, I agree. Seems a worthy risk for a proper shared universe. Yeah, I think so. What led you on to the adoption theory? It was several things, but really, it was that first comments the Russos made. Like, basically, those first comments the Russos made about how it had to be Downey just never left my brain parts. And I was like, no, it obviously had to be Downey for a reason. And so then I kind of like just reverse engineered, like, what could that reason possibly be? Because remember, a lot of people at the time, like, I remember Rob had a video that popped off for like 1 million views, and he was talking about how they did like the body swap stuff. And like, people really believed that. And I was just always like, no fucking way. Like 0% chance that they're going to do that, So, yeah. And you could check the tapes. You could check the posts on social media. I had this theory before basically everybody. Basically before everybody. And also, too, some of those videos have like 500,000 views. So you cannot tell me that some of the channels or some of the people on social media that are now talking about this theory, you cannot tell me that they didn't see my 500,000 view video in this Marvel niche about the most interesting theory about the biggest thing that Marvel's doing. Get fucked, bro. Of course I had that shit before y'all. Of course. Because, frankly, I'm actually really good at this part of the job. Like, really good. Not saying I'm right here. Think I'm right. I feel I'm right. But yeah, that's what it is.